Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to present to you today. My name is Jonathan Payne, the director for the Open Concept Lab community. And on top of all of our minds right now is how do global open source communities like ours integrate AI, not just into our own personal work while we're sitting at a desk, but into our communities and our infrastructure and the way that we do our work. And so communities like ours are globally distributed. We have contributors from all over the world that are using their own tech stack, their own tools, have their own processes and workflows. And that's not a weakness, that's a strength. And we want to protect that diversity. But the challenge is because everybody's doing their own approaches to their work, that means our community infrastructure is what glues us together. And that community infrastructure is still largely manual. So how do we bring AI not just into our own personal individual development work, but into that shared layer where our community lives and thrives? So here's how I think about it. On the left here, we have AI paired programming. And I'm sure you're all experiencing this, that as an individual developer and engineer, probably more productive than you've ever been. And using Claude Code and Cursor or whatever your tools of choice are is probably the default way of doing work for almost all of you today. But we've all also heard of things like OpenClaw and wondered about autonomous software development. What if I could just ask Claude to build OpenMRS v4? But we all know that doesn't work, right? So delivering enterprise-grade mission-critical applications like OpenMRS and OCL requires significant judgment. You have to iterate in real life, and you can't just hand that off to a team to build it in isolation. So what's in the middle? What's the actual goal that we're trying to achieve here? And it is what I think of as this: how do I bring AI into my team's software delivery life cycle with humans still in the driver's seat? So let's agree on 6 ground principles for what we want to achieve here. Human supervised AI software delivery. The big idea is that your team doesn't change what they do. You stay in your native habitat. That's GitHub, Jira, PRs, issues, and specialized agents operate inside those artifacts. They can help you score, classify, report. They can automate movement through your software development pipeline. But there's 2 rules that I really want to highlight. One is rules-based automation first. This is critical. The system must be deterministic, have deterministic automation, because software delivery life cycle for applications like ours has to be reliable and predictable and systematic. So LLMs are used surgically. They inform the decisions, they don't make them. Second is the separation of concerns. Another one I want to call out, which is one agent scores, another codes, another reviews, another codes, and then they check each other's work just like human teams. And they do this with clearly defined guardrails that enforce their behavior. And so the thing that's critical here, though, AI doesn't do everything, and it shouldn't do everything. And we use probabilistic methods where they add value. Otherwise, deterministic methods are critical because that is what provides reliability and predictability. So here's what I'm building and for the OpenMRS OCL community. So where we begin is the same. A ticket is introduced, and a new ticket comes in. A triage agent scores it, routes it. A planner breaks it down if it can into smaller bite-sized chunks. A worker does the development, again, if it's sufficiently scoped for an agent. And then both humans and AI review it, and then a human merges it. And then an observer sits across all of this, watches, collects data, reports on this, and other agents evaluate the performance and recommend improvements. So notice where the human gates are. This is at the beginning, at the review, at the end for merging, and then in the improvement process for this entire workflow. But you don't adopt all of this at once. Like with the principles that I showed in the previous slide, you must build trust first. You can't introduce agents that are taking on mission critical work until they've built that trust and that you know you've integrated them sufficiently into your context, into your community. So where do you start? You start with the observer and triage. These two agents don't touch code. They don't open PRs. They organize and report. So this is where you start. This is where you build that trust. And this is what's also live today on OCL right now. So let me show you. I'll start with the triage agent. So the triage agent scores, classifies, and labels. And a new ticket comes in, it's not labeled, it's not classified. The triage agent processes it, and then we end up with a triaged issue that is classified. This is as a feature, it's routed to the appropriate target. So in this case, we're saying human review, and it has a life cycle state. We now track that it's been triaged, and it's tagged with different characteristics like its scope and risk. So I'm going to show you this now in production. So this is OCL's home on GitHub, where we do most of our work. We have an OCL issues repository where we do our ticket tracking, so kind of like Jira for OpenMRS. And we can see here, we've got several hundred open issues, and every single one of these is systematically tagged and labeled. That's not because of any human did that work. This is because we're using automated agents to support this process. So if we look at a couple of these, so here's a mapping project toolbar. This is a feature, and we can see down here that uh, the humans commented, defined this ticket, but then our OCL automation agent jumped in and scored it on a number of metrics and recommended a decision, a pathway. It routed it for human review. It classified it as a type and defined its characteristics as low risk and small scope, and then it provided rationale as to why it did that. So it needs restructuring, grouping logic, etc. And you might disagree with it, and that's fine. One of the other principles was human override. You can always come in and change the labels. Let's take a look at another one, OCL CLI, which is a new tool. If you haven't played around with it yet, I highly recommend it. It's pretty awesome. Um, this one got tagged as it's AI ready, and it's bug, small scope, and it's well specified. And again, you may not agree with that, but it's a good way to start, and humans could always go in and change the labeling and the routing. What's pretty cool about this, though, is say, now I'm in a planning meeting or a backlog grooming meeting, and I want to pull up everything that's small scope, but still needs specification. And so now I can immediately see that I've got 39 open tickets that need further specification, pretty small. We've only got 30 minutes. Let's start there. So it's an amazing way to kind of filter through your backlog. And every activity is reported and tracked. And so we have a triage report that shows what did this do this morning. The triage agent went in, it found 6 tickets, and it scored, labeled, and provided its rationale. We have a report that lets us track this in real time. So back to our community. So that was the triage agent. Let's look a little bit about the observer agent. What does it do? So we now have a discussion board that the observer agent is posting reports to. So it'll daily, weekly, monthly look across our repositories and tickets and commits and PRs and projects and tell us about our status. So I'll take a look at a couple. So here's our weekly report for last week, and you can see we have a nice summary of different commits across different repos, issues closed, kind of net change in terms of open and close, PRs, statistics across. We track how many tickets were referenced when a PR was submitted and therefore auto closed, and because we want to get that as high as possible. We have a nice LLM-based summary here of the activity, and we even get to see kind of a contributor scorecard about who's engaged and contributing that week. And you can see more about triage activity and different projects and summaries. It's incredibly useful, especially as you think about like if this is just always available when you start your weekly planning meeting, what an amazing resource. And just one more artifact to show, and then I'll close, is our monthly activity summary. And this one is similar, but it's taking a bit higher level, and it's really trying to look across all of the work and the patterns to identify, what really happened that's important and significant in this past stretch of work. And again, gives you some numbers, active initiatives and their status. And so an amazing resource. This is a public repository. Please feel free to go here and check out our discussion board, and maybe you can learn a little bit of something about from our reports. So to close this out, I want to just have two ideas to leave you with. One is, for communities like OpenMRS and OCL, the question is whether our contributors use AI. We all are, right? Everybody's doing paired programming now, and not just programming, we're using all of our work. The question is whether the community does. Is it built in? Is it integrated into our infrastructure? Does it help us do, especially a lot of the drudgery that's really tricky and hard to do consistently because it's not well resourced, like that project management, things for maintaining our community board and our backlog grooming. So this could superpower our communities. And second is start with the observer and triage agents. This is where you build trust, and don't expand until the evidence says you're ready. So thank you so much for your time. I would love to talk further about this, so please reach out.